Yeah. Okay, Sergey, you can let us know when, because now it is 6:30.
Yes, sir,
So
we can start.
we can start.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Elena, should we go
Yes,
ahead?
yes, yes, we
Okay.
can start.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Dennis is also there. So we have one school also present over there. Okay, friends, welcome to this very special day. Uh, on when we are going to meet a cosmonaut. In fact, so far as Nehru Science Center is concerned, this is the second opportunity. We have also got opportunity to host Michelle earlier, just before I think COVID lockdown started. Uh, Space science is really very special. It has become even more special now because we all know, so far as India is concerned, ISRO, we have achieved a lot in recent past. We know Chandrayaan 3, then we have Aditya L1, and before that on Mars also. So it has become a very promising field, and everybody is very much excited when it comes to the space science, particularly in India. This program we have organized along with the Russian Center for Science and Culture, and we are going to learn. It is always very exciting that somebody who has gone to space. In fact, let me share you some of our experience when we had opportunity to host or invite people from space science, or particularly those who have visited, like Sunita William when she came here. Before that, Kalpana Chawla's family, they came here. It was always a overcrowded auditorium, but somehow because of some constraints, we could not organize it physically. Maybe we hope that sometime they will visit India and we'll have a live opportunity to interact with them. Uh, so I'll not take much time because I heard that there are many questions which children have submitted for this session. Welcoming you all to this very special occasion to meet this cosmonaut, Mr. Denis Vladimir Matveev. Before that, we have with us Dr. Elena. I will request her to take over, say a few words about the program, and then introduce the speaker also, Dennis, and then we'll take over this program further. Over to you, Elena.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rostogi, and thank you again for collaboration, because it's not our first time of collaboration. I just want to remind that every year on 12th of April we celebrate the first flight to space of Yuri Gagarin, and the buste of Yuri Gagarin is established exactly in the Nehru Science Center in Mumbai. So recently we celebrated the International Space Week from 4th to 10th of October. It was dedicated to the science of the space, but as you know, on 1st of October of 1957, Soviet Union launched the first satellite of the Earth. This way the space era of the humanity has begun. It's very important, of course, for us to speak to the person who traveled or walked in the space. Not every day we have such chance, and that's why I'm very grateful to Mr. Denis Matveev, who joined us today. He spent in space 195 days. So guys, just imagine this, how you can feel it by yourself if you will spend so long time in just in the space. And besides this, he made 4 spacewalks. So he walked out of the station in the open space. So I guess that you must have a lot of interesting questions for Mr. Matveev. Before we begin with questions, we would like to show you just a short film. It's only for 5 minutes about the center of the preparation of cosmonauts, which we have in Russia, named after our first cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin. And now I ask my colleagues to switch on this film. Anup, please can you share this with us?
Space. Milliards of stars, worlds, and galaxies. Endless, mesmerizing mystery that is attracting minds and souls of mankind. A long journey starts with the first step. Those who are going to lay a long way to the stars take their first steps on Earth in Gagarin Research and Test Cosmonaut Training Center. It is a unique complex where cosmonauts train for long-term expeditions and work in orbit. GCTC conducts professional selection of cosmonaut candidates. All stages of training for a flight are provided here, from space basics to advanced and crew training. Cosmonauts return here for post-flight rehabilitation and then again proceed to theoretical and practical sessions. The International Space Station Russian segment mock-up facility is designed to train the crew for working with numerous onboard systems, conducting experiments and responding to off-nominal situations and emergencies. Centrifuges are used for simulation of various types of G-loads that occur during spacecraft launch and descent. GCTC holds and operates the CF-18 centrifuge, which has no analogs in Russia. It can create G-loads of up to 30 Gs. This type of training is very important. During descent, a cosmonaut is exposed to G-forces that are hard to bear, especially after a long stay in weightlessness. Each cosmonaut dreams of a spacewalk. The GCTC Hydro Lab is one of the main training facilities used to prepare cosmonauts for extravehicular activity. Gaining basic skills of working in hydro environment helps to face real challenges on the outer surface of the station. On the ground, extravehicular activity is simulated by 90%. The Soyuz integrated simulators are designed for crew training on control a space vehicle at all flight stages, both in nominal situations and emergencies. Cosmonauts are trained on these simulators for working with onboard systems, troubleshooting, interacting with the ground, and exercising their skills in manual control of the vehicle. Cosmonauts must be ready for any situation that may occur both in space and on the ground. If an abnormal situation happens at re-entry, the crew may land at any point on Earth and thus face any harsh climatic conditions. Survivals are one of the most challenging types of psychological and physical training. Low temperatures in winter, hot deserts in summer, and motion sickness at water landing. All these climatic and geographical factors complicate cosmonauts' work during survivals. This training is a real challenge in terms of body abilities, professional and leadership skills. Weightlessness is one of the main features of spaceflight. However, it may be experienced here on Earth. The Il-76 flying laboratory is used to train cosmonauts for work in zero gravity. It is designed to perform parabolas simulating weightlessness or reduced gravity, including that on the Moon and Mars. Training for a spaceflight is challenging and requires painstaking hard work. Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center provides all types of training, facilities, procedures, as well as experience and knowledge of its team, to prepare a person for a complicated, dangerous, and very demanding task, a flight to space.
Okay, dear colleagues, I think that maybe now we can give the floor to Mr. Denis, so he can say some words to our children today and to all of us, and he is ready to answer your questions, but please be ready that not all your questions will be answered today, and other questions which will be not answered, you can get this answer in written after. So, yes, Mr. Rostogi, you want to add something? Please switch on your mic.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, what I suggest, maybe a couple of, there are some students sitting over there and some live means audience with us. If they have some questions, either they can type or there in the chat box, or maybe later on, just for a couple of minutes, we can open the session, live interaction. I think you need to translate to Mr. Dennis for that. So that will be. Now we can request Mr. Dennis to say a few words and then maybe about his experience or what he has done, and then answering the questions what he has already taken up some of the questions. That will be fine.
All right, it's nice to be here, and it's nice to see you guys, to see your smiling faces. So hopefully we will spend this time talking about space and our MENS program. And I've looked through the questions so far, and all of them are pretty much insane. They're really well performed. So we can try to work this way, so the guys could start asking their questions, and I'll try to answer them. And if hopefully I will be able to distinguish, to understand them pretty well, and in case not, so I would ask you to maybe like type them so I could read them. So, shall we start with the questions?
Hello. You have some, I think you have shared some questions with them. Sate?
Yes, sir.
Some questions we invited, I think we shared. Dr. Elena, do you have those link to that?
Yes. Денис Владимирович, а вы получали вопросы? Мы отправляли в формате Excel. Там было много их достаточно, но какие-то можно, я думаю, выбрать самые интересные.
Yes, so I've got a list of questions. So if you ask me to choose some of them, we can do it this way, okay? And also you can see it's in the chat texting. For example, here is a question: India is planning a manned mission to the moon by 2040. And would you like to comment? So that's a good question, and I can say that for now all the agencies, the professional agencies like Roscosmos, the India Space Agency, NASA, ESA, JAXA, whatever you call in different countries, they are looking forward and they're facing to make the next step to the moon. So NASA is going to to perform a flight and to fly around the moon, and they have assigned the crew already for 4 astronauts for that mission. And India and Russia, they are trying to land a moon lunar lander. So it was successful for India, not successful for Russia, but still we are working on that. And all the other countries, they're building their facilities in their national agencies to find out how to work on a lunar surface and what vehicles should be developed to work there successfully, and what kind of shelters should be built to save astronauts and cosmonauts while they're lunar missions. And talking about India and the manned program to the moon, hopefully it will be successful. Not sure about the dates because it's hard to distinguish or like to set specific dates from this point because so many things to do and so many things to develop. Hopefully 2040 is a good date to do that, and I hope that by that date not only India will be there, but a lot of other countries, so that it will be a good international partnership, and there will be like a nice party there on the moon. And also, while I'm answering the questions, I would like to suggest you to watch a little movie. So that's a movie that shows different pictures that were taken by me while I was flying on the ISS, different views of our planet, and some pictures from the inside of the station. So give me a second, I'll launch this movie and we will continue.
Yeah, please. Sure. I think something else is shared right now. You can retry.
So there is a small technical issue. I can share you the movie, but if I do this, in this case, I won't be able to see the conference, to see you. So I won't be able to read the questions, or probably I could ask you to read the questions for me, so I could answer them while you are watching the movie. And please turn on your
mic. You can stop sharing the screen. I think there is some issue in that. We have some questions live also. Sata, can you help in this?
Yes, sir. Sir, there is one question that what is the best part of a spacewalk? What is the best part of a spacewalk?
Yeah, I got the question. So that's a good question, and the spacewalk itself, it's a huge procedure starting 2 weeks prior before the EVA itself, and so we start training this activity, this EVA, like several months before we fly, and we spend hours and hours in NVL, in Hydro Lab, or neutral buoyancy laboratory, whatever you call it. And talking about the EVA itself, when you're out in open space, I would say that the best part of it is the view through the visor of a spacesuit. So the view is much wider in a comparison with what you can see through the window, because it has its limits and it's limited your field of view. So I can say that, for example, watching or observing the Earth through the visor of a spacesuit, you can see somewhere around 1/3 of a, let's say, North American continent. So that's a really benefit of an EVA. So you can watch or you can enjoy the scenery of our planet, and it's really beautiful.
Mr. Dennis, we have a friend from media, and he has put up a question over there. I think yesterday only PM Modi has announced that India will have its station on Moon by 2035 and Indian on Moon by 2040. So they want to know, would you like to comment on this? India's planning a manned mission to the Moon by 2040. Would you like to comment on that?
So it's hard to say something because it's like your national plans. But the one idea that I would like to share and I would like to say is that I would like to hope that this India's national project would be some kind of international, so that you would be glad to join, or you will be glad to host other nations in your project, for example, Russia. And in this case, that would be a great like cooperation. For example, flying together to India station or flying together to Russian space station.
Okay. There is another question. What he wants to know, when your first day of being in space, I'm not sure whether he's talking about going to space or about spacewalk. How was the feeling about looking down at the Earth from above? From the space when you were watching Earth, what was your feeling?
So that's a good question, and basically that's the first action you're trying to perform when you arrive at the station. So you just go to the nearest window and start looking through it, observing our planet. And of course, you can feel joy, and the planet is really beautiful, and it's basically and really it's blue and white, and you can see some of the continents, but basically that's water and clouds. And I would even say that people should have called our planet not Earth, but maybe water or clouds.
Sir, similar to best part, there is similar question. What was your scariest moment in the space? Scariest moment.
I I cannot remember something that was like really scary, but I can share my maybe experience. So while like orbiting the planet, there is two parts of the orbit. So that's the day part of the orbit, like the light part and the dark part. And for example, when you're flying like in the night, when it's a dark part or shade part, whatever you call it, and for example, your orbit is lying. You do not see any like cities or lights on the planet, on the Earth. For example, you are flying above the Pacific Ocean, and so you do not see anything on the surface of the planet, and you can see only stars and nothing else. And this force you makes you think about like our life and our goal as a species, as a human beings, because you do not see our beautiful planet, you see only stars and they're shining, and anything else that you can see is like a dark nothing. So that makes you turns you in some philosophical moods, and that is really amazing.
Okay, there is another question. Whenever astronauts or cosmonauts, whatever you say, means when they come down from space and they come to Earth, most of the time they are allowed to fall in sea or ocean. So, what is the basic reason for that? Whether there are some lot of jumps in the space which can accompany with them, that's why they are first drenched totally in sea water or ocean. So, what is the basic reason for that? That is the question. Why they always go to sea?
So, could you return? Could you repeat the last
Yeah,
phrase, please?
when astronaut or cosmonaut they are coming down to Earth, after when they come to Earth, first they are normally allowed to go to the sea or ocean water instead of coming directly to our land portion. So, is there any specific reason for that? Why they are doing that?
Basically, not. If we are talking about the Soyuz spacecraft, it can land both like land and water surface. So it was designed to do both. But basically, we do like landing because we uh, launch Soyuz vehicle and we land Soyuz vehicle from the territory of Kazakhstan, Baikonur, and that's a place where it's kind of abandoned place, so there is no settlements around, there is no people you can harm, and basically that's a matter of like safety, because uh, it's uh, it's a matter of safety, because when you land and there is nothing around, so it won't harm both the vehicle and potentially people around.
Uh, how does the space smell? That is one question. Is there any specific smell from the surrounding that space has, which is in space, which is different than our atmosphere?
Yeah, that's a great question, and actually the space does smell, and you can feel it, you can experience after the spacewalk, and just imagine the whole airlock was like uh, exposing in a vacuum for more than 10 hours. And after you get in, you close the hatch and you get out of the spacesuit. So you can uh, feel that smell, and the most common or the most close to that smell is smell of the smell of a metal welding.
Okay, there is one, I think, technical question. Uh, why did the descent vehicle of the Soyuz MS-21 transport manned spacecraft (TPC) made a regular landing at the calculated point on the territory of Kazakhstan instead of landing in the ocean? Won't that helping in reducing the heat of the descent vehicle? due to atmospheric friction. One that helping in reducing the heat of the descent vehicle due to atmospheric friction. Means if they would have gone to ocean, perhaps heat would have been less than going through the atmosphere, because the atmosphere has, creates more friction. Like this, yeah.
Yeah, so the main idea why we land, why we do not like do splashdown or like ditching, and the main idea that we land on a like solid surface is because our rescue guys they are like developed to do that on Earth. So if you land on a water surface, you would need special boats and special rescue like vehicles, and we do not have those. And basically, we do not have big water bodies or big surfaces of water. Because we launch from Kazakhstan and we land on Kazakhstan, and hardly you can find some big bodies of water in Kazakhstan. So that's basically the semi-desert lands, and Soyuz vehicle is designed to land both the solid surface and the water surface. So it's just, I would say, a matter of experience. We've done that many years, and it showed to be really successful and good condition.
Okay. There's another question. What is your say on aliens? Aliens, since you have spent such a long time in space, was there any mysterious experience out there about aliens or something? Means, have you seen any objects, such kind of thing? They keep on, or maybe what you call unidentified flying objects like UFO. We talk about. You say on that.
Yeah, that's a popular question, and pretty common. I didn't see any of them. And I asked my colleagues, and they didn't see it either. But I saw something like, I wouldn't call it strange, but maybe not very common. And it looked like a little spark or something shiny. And it turned out to be a piece of a foil. So, you know, all the vehicles are covered with a special mats, isolated isolation mats, and they consist of 20 layers of foil, metal foil. And when it like kind of breaks, or some piece of that foil flies around the station, and it reflects the sunlight, and it starts like shining. So I saw some of those, but I see no aliens.
Okay. I have one question. When you are going under training, that means in a simulated condition, at any moment of time, have you ever felt that is so scary, so hardworking, and I should go back? At any moment of time, any that sort of feeling, because there are many young aspiring students who have joined this session. So maybe what kind of feeling at that time? Sometimes we feel, okay, it is so hard. You have to adapt to a very very different situation. What do you like to say to our young audience for that?
So that's a good question, and just to make it clear and to make it more clear, so the professional space explorers, cosmonauts, astronauts, argonauts, whatever you call them, so they are not like random guys being caught on the street and being put into the rockets and then launched into space. They've been training for many years, and so the statistics shows that it takes you somewhere around 10 years after you came to the cosmonauts corps, astronauts corps, so it takes you somewhere around 10 years before you first fly into space. And during these 10 years, you are training hard, and that's a continuous process, and you start to understand how to train, how to prepare to your flights. You are studying the vehicle, the Russian orbital segment, and you've got numerous training in different emergency situations like a fire or depress or ammonia leak. So many of them. You know how to deal with emergency situation while we are flying the Soyuz spacecraft. So by that point, when you are finally in the rockets, you are a fully trained and fully prepared professional, and you are ready for whatever could possibly happen. And that's why it's a feeling finally when the rocket started to fly and you're sitting inside the rocket. So that's a good feeling, because finally all those years of training, then they became applicable. They became finally not wasted. And yeah, so that's the basic idea, that we are professionals and we are trained very well, and we know what to do in different situations, emergency situations.
Okay. One more question we have got. It's about color. Is there any specific something to do with color with cosmonaut or astronaut? There are some specific colors connected with that. Whether about, I don't know whether they have not mentioned whether they are talking about their dress or their shoe, something like that. And another question is, what kind of research is being done in space stations when you go there?
So starting answering the second question, the last question. So the main idea of space flights in general, both for whatever agency, so Roscosmos, NASA, or ESA, is to conduct scientific experiments, and so most of the time on the station is spent for that purpose. And there is so many, like branches and fields, or like destinations of that experiments that basically covers everything. That's our planet's radiation science and the body science and material science and microcells growth, for example, science. It covers almost everything, and we conduct. So on the Russian side, we conduct somewhere around 50 different scientific experiments per flight, and that's a good. So basically, that's why we're flying on the station, and we're also I would say taking care of our orbital segments. So we are doing some maintenance and maybe some repairings, and we're also trying to implement and to initialize some new things. For example, a new module, MLM, multi-purpose laboratory module, had arrived somewhere around less than 2 years ago. And one of the goals, or I would say the main idea, the main goal of our mission was to continue integrate this new module to Russian orbital segments, and that's why we did several EVAs, several spacewalks, and we were trying to initiate the robotic arm that was a part of that module, and finally we did that, and now it's working, and it's working fine. And the crew that was following us, our friends and colleagues, they continue doing their job, and they moved some big things from one module to another. That was a heat exchanger and a little airlock. And those EVAs, they were successful, and finally, for now, officially, the Russian segment is fully completed and in a good nominal condition.
So space science itself is very diverse field when you go enter into that, and when you further go into the space, you get opportunity to do lot many across the means diversified field to do experiment and to study. Good. Another question is about when you came back. How what was the response of your body immediately when you have landed? Because it was microgravity and then on Earth full gravity. So what kind of rapid change or what you have felt? So this question is about that.
Yeah, that's also a good question. And basically, when you get back to the gravity conditions after the zero G, there is a specific processes in your body. So the blood that was used to be in the upper part of your body while being in zero gravity, it starts going down towards your legs, and so that affects your body, and that's why you can kind of feel motion sickness. And if you watch like different videos, you will see that the guys who just returned from space, they look pale, and they look maybe not very happy. That's because of those factors. And also, while being on a station, we exercise 2 times per day, and that's basically cardio work. And there is also some physical training in the US segment. There is a special facility, and it helps to keep your muscles in a good fit. But the problem is that it works only with a big muscles or big groups of muscles, and there's numerous little muscles in our body, and that's why you can see that cosmonauts or astronauts, they are when they are walking, and that's also a question. Sounds like, could cosmonauts and astronauts walk after their landing just immediately? Yes, they can walk, but you see that their movements are kind of weird, and that's because those little muscles were degraded, and they keep your posture, and they uh, they affect the smoothness of your motions, and that's why your movements look so weird. But yes, it's those factors, they affect right away after the landing. But I would say that in several hours, for example, it takes us somewhere around 6 hours to get from a landing point to GCTC, to Star City, where we start our rehabilitation. And after that period, 6 hours, you can feel pretty good, and you can walk by own, by yourself, and you look pretty much good.
Dennis, there's another question. Do you face any radiation problems in space? From outer space, there are various radiations coming. Have you faced any?
Yeah, that's also a good question. And so here is like some basics and like basic theory. The station itself, it's altitude is somewhere around 400 kilometers, and that means that it's flying beneath or below the Van Allen belts, radiation belts. So our planets got two of those, and they basically they keep all the radiation coming from our sun, from our star, and that's why the radiation level on board of the station is not sufficiently higher than we can find or than we can experience on Earth. It's higher, but not much. It's, I would say, a little bit higher. And to measure this radiation level that the body is exposing during the flight, we are using little sensors that big that we also have with us, keep with us. And after we return back to Earth, and we give those sensors to doctors or to specialists, and they tell us our radiation dose that we got during the flight. And I would say that it's not big. So this allows you to perform or to make up to 10 half-year flights during your professional career.
Some people want to know, Dennis, you are involved in some of the experiments. You have done some experiments over there. Would you like to share something from your personal experience doing some experiment in space? Whether you were involved in any of the experiment or in performing some experiment in space, would you like to share? There is a couple of questions related with that.
Yeah, so I did so many experiments that I hardly can remember all of them, but I would mention a group of experiments that are connected with the Earth observation. So you're doing like two good things. You're doing science on one hand, and you are officially observing our planet on the other hand. So that's one of my favorite experiments. And I can remember like one fancy experiment I was performing. So I was growing the cells of coronavirus, so to get them back to Earth and to study it.
Okay. Actually, we have some people here. Would you, if anybody would like to ask direct question? We have been reading from the chat box, but I think since we have around 25 people with us, if anyone, any audience among the audience would like to ask directly a question to Mr. Dennis. Daria is there. Sate, can you unmute Daria and allow him to ask question directly?
Yes,
They
sir.
are the young participants.
Yes, sir.
Daria,
Daria,
are you
please.
there?
Yeah.
Daria, please ask your question. Unmute yourself and.
Good evening, sir. So I have read that the universe has been expanding for the last, I think, 13.8 million years. So do you feel that the universe will ever come to a stop while expanding, or will there be any horizon of the universe as such?
Have you got the question, Dennis?
I'm afraid not. Could you rephrase it?
Can you repeat, Daria, and slowly and slightly you can increase your volume. No problem. Come closer to your mic.
So I have heard that the universe has been expanding for the last about 13.8 billion years.
Mhm.
So, will there be any horizon like signified?
Okay, edge. Do you want to say some end of that where you can see?
Yes. Will there be any?
Okay. The question is, since we have been reading that the universe is expanding, and right now it is somewhere around 13.8 billion years. So will there be any end to that? Edge of universe, you can say. That's what he wants to know. Your take on that.
Yeah, that's a good question, but I'm afraid I'm not a right person to answer it because that's a fundamental question, and scientists are still uh, trying to figure out and trying to find out what's happening with our universe. And it's true, it's expanding, but how long will it last? So the universe is infinite, and the process could probably be infinite. So we are just trying to figure out, but I'm afraid personally I won't be able to answer this question.
Okay.
I do have another question.
No, Darya, there are many others and we have limited time. Maybe you can put your question in chat box. Let me see. Katyani?
Katyayani, sir.
Okay, Katyani. Let's go to Katyani.
So my question was that have you felt claustrophobic in outer space?
What the question?
Do you feel claustrophobic in outer space when you will go?
Uh, no, I mean I can try to imagine why you're asking this question. And for example, if we're talking about the spacesuit itself, it's pretty like uh, it's deep on one hand, but on the other hand, you just squeeze into it, and it's very tight. Um, so getting inside the suit could probably cause this claustrophobic feeling, but not for me personally. I felt pretty good inside, and I felt like being inside my tiny personal little house. And basically, the space suits for EVA, it looks or it's designed to be like a little spacecraft. It has all the systems that are needed for your breathing, for removal of your carbon dioxide. There is common side and ventilation and the heat removal, and so all you need to perform a spacewalk. So basically, there's a small spacecraft, and getting inside it may probably cause that feeling, but not for me personally.
Okay. Let me go to Lunar Foundation. We can see lot many students sitting over there and listening to us. Lunar Foundation. Uh, yes, the person, I request you can come closer to your mic and start asking your question and mute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
How do you keep, how do you track of time in space?
Mr. Dennis,
How,
How do we?
how do you
feel?
track time when you are in space?
Yes.
Um, we've got watches, and that's easy. uh, but yeah, so basically we use like watches, and they are they are not mechanical. So um, for sure, those watches should have should be having an alarm in it. So because during the day you've got many activities and you don't want to miss them, and that's why you set up different alarms, and your wristwatch is the best like mechanism to do that. So you won't miss any of those activities, and so basically that's your wristwatch with a several alarms signals in it. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now we can go to Varad. Varad, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah,
I
you
had
can
a
ask your
question
question.
that, okay, so like the EVA suit, how bulky is it and how much time do you need to wear it? And also, like the since most astronauts and cosmonauts are like Air Force pilots, so were you an Air Force pilot? And if you were an Air Force pilot, which planes did you flew?
So yes, starting answering from the second question, I'm not a pilot. I'm an engineer, so I didn't fly any aircraft while working as an engineer. But as a part of our cosmonauts training process and program, we have to fly jets, and that's little jets that are called L-39 Albatross. So we fly jets, and we still, we have to do it annually every year, and that's a part of our training program, and that's nice. I like to fly jets. And answering about the EVA suit, so there is like the whole and the big procedure of when you get into the airlock and then you get into your suits, you start different pressure checks, pressure leak checks, and this procedure until from a time you get into a suit to a time you open the EVA hatch to start your EVA usually takes somewhere around 2 hours. The EVA itself usually lasts for 7 to 8 hours. And when you get back to the airlock, you start the final or closing up procedure that usually takes an hour or so. So basically, during the EVA, you are inside your space suit for somewhere around 10 hours.
I can see one more hand raised, and we are coming close to the end of this program also. Vedanti, go. Vedanti, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can ask your question, please.
Yes, so for being a cosmonaut or an astronaut, what exact requirements or studies are there for them?
To become an astronaut, what are the requirement of studies?
What are the main studies or what you have to do before becoming an astronaut? What are the requirements or studies?
Okay.
Yes, yeah, so that's a good question, and I'm not sure about our foreign colleagues about astronauts. I can tell about the cosmonauts only. So you have to be a person who has graduated a college, and you have and after that you have to work on your specialties, so your professional work for 3 years. So that limits the minimum age of starting or trying to be a part of a cosmonaut course, so that's 25. So the maximum age we want people to be a cosmonaut is 35, and you have to be, or you have to have to be like physically fitness, and you have to be healthy. So basically, I would say there is two big, so people with two big backgrounds in a cosmonaut corps. So one part part, or like somewhere around 50%, are engineers, and the other part are pilots, basically military pilots. So, like summarizing all that, that's it. So that's a technical education, engineering, or like military pilots. So you have to be pretty young and very healthy.
Okay, how much time we have left? I can see one more. Shiva, the creator. Shiva, the creator.
Sir, can I ask one more?
Just a minute, Vedanti. We have given opportunity to each one to ask one question. I can see one more hand raised. Shiva, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah, you can ask your question, please.
Sir, we already know that, sorry if my question related to this or not. Already space war already began. We know that. We come to know that space war, we have a lot of developments in astronomy, space, etc. But is there any negative impact because of that space war?
Space war means okay. Mr. Dennis, the question is about space war. Is that correct? Whether there is a negative impact on that? But we have got many good aspects of that development and spin-offs from them. So, your take on that space war?
So are you talking about the space debris?
Shiva?
No, sir. We have developed a lot of space.
Shiva, when you say space war, what exactly you mean by that? Means it is the race between the countries, war kind of thing, or it is fighting like now the two countries are fighting with the mean space?
Yes, sir. When two countries fight in space, they develop some new equipments and new developments. But is there any negative impact?
I'm afraid I didn't get the question right. So you're talking about
any negative impact of space technology? Maybe I think that's what we are creating. That is for benefit of mankind. But
yes, sir.
Can there be a negative impact also?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think the main and the huge negative effect that we can see is the space debris. So, so many debris, so many like particles, so blown up satellites and some little and big things that are flying around, and that's a huge problem, and it's getting worse and worse because, for example, like let's say 8 years ago, the station. So when it's there is a potential debris that is flying near the station, so the station escapes. It ignites its engines and it changes the orbit, the trajectory. And for example, 8 years ago, during a mission, the station would escape like maybe 2 or 3 times. And last year, during our mission, we did that orbital maneuver more than 9 times. That says that shows that the number of debris on different levels of orbits on different orbits is growing rapidly and dramatically, and that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, it's a big concern. In fact, I remember in our science center we selected one film on space junk, and we have shown it as a 3D entertainment movie. But that's a big concern, no doubt about that. I think we are coming close now. We can close down if you allow. I will request Dr. Alina to add something more on this while thanking you all. And I can ask whether Mr. Srinivas Lakshman, if you have any other question, we can take up just before we close down, if you are there.
He has answered my question about India's planned mission, human
Yes.
mission to the moon. The answer is quite significant because tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, we are carrying out the first TD1 test. And this assumes a certain amount of relevance and significance, what he has said, because tomorrow it's the first step, first preliminary step towards, I would say, going to the space station and landing a man on the Indian on the, I wouldn't say man, I would say an Indian on the moon, hopefully by 2040. By the term by, it could be the next 1 hour also. So by the time you close, it will be a surprise if we have the Indian holding a flag on the moon. Okay?
Oh. Okay, Vedanti has requested. Vedanti want to ask the last question of the day. Okay, Vedanti, go ahead.
So, sir, I wanted to ask, while being in the space, so normally that sun doesn't rise up and set down like on Earth in its natural time on 24 hours. So, does it being in space, there are any other effects of sleep and wake cycle on you or other cosmonauts?
Could you get it?
So the first part was about sunrises and sunsets, right? Or did I get it right?
Yes. The main question was about why, like when being in space, when you just like this on, does it affect the sleep or wake cycle of any cosmonaut or the sleep or wake cycle?
Okay, after coming back, you want to say when you go to space and when you come back, is there an effect on life cycle?
No.
After coming back, while being in space.
Sir, she wants to ask that when you are in space, you don't see the sunrise and sunset. So does it affect your sleeping cycle?
Yeah, okay, means,
Gotcha. So we do see sunsets and sunrises, and so to say more, we can see 16 sunrises and sunsets per day. So we can see or witness them a lot. But no, speaking about the life cycle, it doesn't change much. So we've got, I would say, the nominal working day as you've got here, and the working week it's a little bit longer. So usually, basically in Russia, we've got a 40 hours working week, and on the station it's 42.5 hours. So that's a little bit longer, but the nominal day it looks pretty much the same. You wake up, you do your morning, like you brush your teeth, and you've got your breakfast and you start working, and so what is different, you've got two PTs, like two physical trainings a day, but basically that's it. After you finish your working day, you've got your meal, and you've got your free time, and you start preparing for the next day. So basically it's the same, and usually not every week. We've got 2 weekends, so that's Saturday and Sunday. So basically that's the same working day as we have on the.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Now I think we can conclude with a big thank you and a round of applause to Mr. Dennis and also to Dr. Alina, Russian Center for Science and Culture, for giving us this opportunity. It's always an exciting experience to listen directly from a person who has been means involved in spacewalk as well as to cosmonaut. So it's really exciting, no doubt. I will request now Dr. Alina to take over and conclude this program. Dr. Alina, over to you.
Mr. Rostogi, thank you very much. Honestly, I do not have a lot to add to this professional discussion. So, आपका participation and आपको questions के लिए बहुत शुक्रिया. So I hope that next event we will have also together. Let's think about this and hope our collaboration will continue. At least in April we can meet again and maybe in person if Mr. Denis maybe would come here to Mumbai. We will be very happy. Let's work on this and children can meet him personally and I think this will be more excited to see him live and for us too. So thank you very much. Let's keep in touch and look for our next programs. Thank you.
Thank you. And it was really special because in most of our lectures or interaction, we hardly get maybe 10-15 minutes for question and answer session. So this was really special because it was exclusively based on question and answer session. So everybody has got opportunity to ask question directly. Thank you, Mr. Denis. Requesting you, maybe when you are coming to India, please do visit us and we'll organize a talk directly in physical format. Now, as Mr. Srinivas Lakshman has told, wishing ISRO for the first step tomorrow when we can see Indian on moon. That will be tomorrow. So wishing ISRO a great success from all of us, space enthusiasts who are sitting here. Thank you very much. So with your kind permission, if you allow Mr. Dennis and Dr. Alina, we can conclude and close the meeting now.
Thank you, sir.
It was a
Namaskar.
and
Thank you.
yeah, it was a moment for this event, and bye.
Bye. Thank you. Namaskar. Okay, Sakir.
Yes, sir. I will end the meeting.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for being with us.